Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, Wisetech Global's share price fell another 1.4% today after yet another revelation involving the personal life of founder and chief executive officer Richard White. Nine Media is reporting that White had a lengthy relationship with an employee called Christine Contos. She was recruited by White after the start of their relationship back in 2016. He gave her a luxury waterfront mansion worth $7 million in Melbourne's Docklands at the end of their relationship, according to Nine. That's the third property Mr. White has purchased, allegedly, for a woman he's had a relationship with. In a statement, Mr. White said he told the board about the relationship, though he didn't tell them about the property purchase. This story just keeps giving. Story number 2, the corporate regulator has sued insurer QBE, alleging it failed to deliver on pricing promises made to more than 500,000 customers over a 5-year period. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission alleges the pricing methodology QBE used to calculate premiums actually eroded the discounts that were promised. For example, loyalty discounts that were promoted weren't provided, according to the allegations. In an ASX statement today, QBE apologised for inconsistencies in how discounts were applied. That certainly isn't an admission of guilt. Another story we're going to hear plenty about. The share price finished down slightly today, though it's up about 16% this year, so QBE has been a pretty good investment for a bunch of people. Story number 3, Tabcorp's management is under pressure to cut shop fronts as part of its cost-cutting regime. The gaming group, with its new chief executive officer, former AFL boss Gil McLachlan, fronted investors at its annual general meeting in Sydney today. It's been an awful year, let's face it. Its share price is down 43% in 2024. It announced a $1.36 billion loss for the last financial year, and that was all, well, not all, but a lot of it was on write-downs on wagering assets in South Australia and New South Wales. That was a climate for Mr. McLachlan to face shareholders. Of course, we're in the middle of the spring racing season. That should be a good time. Anyway, Mr. McLachlan came out and said he is going on a big cost-cutting initiative. He said, and I quote, "The cost-cutting is all about being more cost-effective, an agile company, and unlocking the opportunities within the asset base." David Kingston, a high-profile investor over many years, he was at the meeting. He stood and spoke. He said he's angry that Tabcorp isn't competing with online competitors like Sportsbet and Ladbrokes, and he called for the closure of some of the betting shop fronts. Story number 4, the longtime boss of Domain, Jason Pellegrino, will depart after 6 years running the online real estate business. Mr. Pellegrino came out of Google in Australia and led the group through 13 interest rate rises, a pandemic, and against a very tough competitor in REA. Domain, of course, is 60% owned by Nine Entertainment. In other share market news, the gold miners did very well today as the price of gold continues to hover around record levels. Bellevue Gold, Genesis Minerals, and Perseus Mining were all strong today. Best on the day of the top 200 was Qantas. There was a bunch of upgrades from investment analysts. Qantas is up 65% over the past 12 months. Mineral Resources share price was down 5%. That makes it 28% over the last week. That's after ASIC is reportedly interested in revelations that Chris Ellison allegedly ran a tax evasion scheme for a decade, Chris Ellison being the founder and current CEO. Copper Focus 29 Metals was down after reporting a steep fall in cash reserves. Overall, the S&P ASX 200 finished up slightly, 0.1%, to 8,216 points. And story number 5, Bitcoin is appreciating. Investors put it down to the Trump trade, the idea that if Donald Trump becomes president of the USA, it will be good for the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is heading towards $70,000 a unit. That's up 60% this year. The record is $73,797 a unit. So it's approaching that level. Trump has said if he wins, he will make the US the crypto capital of the planet. Kamala Harris has also softened on the currency, and certainly her ideas about cryptocurrencies are far more friendly to the sector than Joe Biden's. Otherwise, in international markets, oil fell towards $71 a barrel over the past 24 hours. That's after we heard of a rise in inventory levels in the US. US bond yields are rising fast as investors rethink chances of another rate cut anytime soon in that market. The upside of that is that investors don't think there's going to be a recession, or at least there's a reduced risk of recession. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2024. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Thursday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.